Welcome back to Anno 1800, where we are currently on our way to Land of Lions, also known as Enbesa. Or Enbesa. We quit the last episode rather quickly because it was too much time for one episode to continue on our way there. But let's continue our journey there. I'm going to quickly... No, I don't need to because the game saved itself. So we're going to enter the Culysma Canal. The explosion scattered debris across the canal. As your helmsman carefully steers into the nascent Culysma Canal, a deafening blast ahead of you sends most of your crew sprawling across the deck. The initial shock overcome, they rush to their stations and pull the ship into a crawl, bringing it to rest mere feet away from the listing flame-racked carcass of a ship. Doubtless it will be days before all is cleansed and navigation can resume. One of your sailors furrows their brow. Ain't it odd that there ain't no one in the water? Odd indeed. In fact, there's no trace at all of the exploded ship's crew. An irresistible mystery. Let's search nearby for the missing crew. Actually, let's request ship records from the canal authorities. Get a little bit of morale. It takes some persuasion, but you convince the officials to let you look into the cargo report from the ship. It reads FS Deux Frères. H from Aquiana cleared from crossing this day. Upholstery and tools. NTD. Nothing salient, yet something feels off, and your sailor quickly remembers. FS? Is that not an imperial prefix? Then why register the ship as foreign? Slowly it dawns upon you. Assuming this is no mistake, does it not imply deliberate sabotage by your own countrymen? It may have implications for the crown if you were to inform the locals. Our loyalty is to the Queen. A little bit more morale. Fortunately, only a few crew members heard the ghastly secret. All of them are immediately pledged to silence. For Queen and country. When their duties have been resumed, your captain sends a carefully worded epistle to Sir Archibald Blake, assuring him of the crew's loyalty and abnegation in removing any evidence. Surely the Queen will reward such loyal subjects. Continue your journey. Next up is the Holy City. I think our little city here in the New World is capable of taking care of itself now. Yep. I can probably upgrade them to obreros as well. Yeah, I put up another one of those, so let's put up another one of these as well. Do we have enough in stock? Yeah, we do. So we can put up another fried plantain kitchen as well. Probably be a good idea to have a fire station over here. I never remember which side is the front and the back of this thing. There we go. And with that, we can upgrade the rest of the houses here. And we should have enough. Yep, we have enough. So we can go back to the old world and just speed things up. As we wait for the expedition to continue. Might be a tad boring to wait, but since it's such a long expedition with many options, the game usually doesn't spend too much time between each of the points of that expedition, so it should appear soon. I do like this 10 by 10 setup. Sometimes it does look a bit
We careen into the unknown.
monotonous at places, but at the same time it also looks more organic. Let's save the game here and see what's up.
Raising horrors.
A holy pilgrimage. Tales abound of a city sacred to all in this land, and of the holy pilgrimage that must be undertaken by the faithful at least once in their lifetime. Intrigued, you dock at a busy port, a major hub for those on this journey. As you wander the streets in the cooling shade of antique Russians, okay, the dust-hemmed white robes and sturdy sandals of the passers-by betray their weavers' devout intentions. Snippets of enthusiastic and fervent chatter convince your crew that they must see this holy city for themselves. You are perusing an eager trader's wares when a man approaches, ornate weapons latched to his side and back. Marhaban, friends. Are you here on pilgrimage? Aye, we come from afar to see the holy city. He eyes you sympathetically. The Wadi is a dangerous place. Rain falls and Adawi brigands abound. Join the caravan. We'll be safer. Such a generous offer is hard to decline, and the following dawn finds you clad in the white garb of the devout, joining the steady pace of hundreds of other pilgrims along the long, dry riverbed. The journey is slow but safe, and it is barely noon the next day when the caravan reaches the outskirts of the holy city and slowly disbands. You look around, uncertain where to head next. Let's see. Okay, so we have to go to the temple, and I need to save the game then. That seems to have worked. Crowds flock to a vast walled courtyard with intricately arched colonnades. Intrigued, you follow the throng, but find the yard is entirely empty, save for a towering structure of gilded black stone at its center. Swept up in the procession, you cannot help but be awed by the drone of countless muttered fervent prayers. The devout circle the stone in ever-nearing cycles, it being perhaps the most important part of their often months-long journey to this, the holiest of cities. A man in priestly garb hails you from an alcove in the creamy stone walls, amicably pointing at a panelled door behind him. He seems friendly enough, but then you still have much to do before leaving the city. Follow the man. Seizing the opportunity to leave the stifling crowd, you follow him into a set of dimly lit rooms smelling of frankincense and myrrh. All around, walls are piled high with ancient-looking books and maps, tomes of venerable learning in a score of languages and scripts, a testament to the man's profession as a scholar. One book in particular sits nonchalantly on a small red velvet cushion below the wooden arabesques of a slender window, its thick leather cover finely inlaid with minute gems and golden ink. Ask where he learned such an array of languages.
What's eaten biscuit for?
A language is the heart of a people, its sound the music of the world they hear, its grammar the image of their understanding, its history another tale of creation. He leans quietly on the back of a comfortable low chair, eyes lost in the haze undulating warmly outside the Moorish window. A poem tells of how the birds once joined in pilgrimage to find the Zimorg, how he spoke to each in its language, and how they knew thence the truth of his words. He smiles with such joy that the weariness of age fades from his face for a while. Long have I idled here, lost in what I knew. It is time I learned anew and heard the songs of birds of all nations, if you would have me. So wise a man could be a great blessing on your onward journey. And indeed, we get the polyglot scholar Rahim, which this guy is very, very good. 30 faith, 50 diplomacy, and he also has the trait hypnotist. But he does put the ship in peace mode, but that is not at all a problem for me. So this ship's chaplain that we have here, we're going to toss him overboard or leave him behind and replace him. Actually, no, we can replace the royal letter of immunity, I think. Yeah, we're going to replace the royal letter of immunity. And then continue our journey. And we should go to the savannah. And some rations. Not that it really matters in terms of morale, it was -10 on both now. Then we can speed up the game again. I have sent a clipper up here because I want to buy pocket watches of Sir Archibald. We need 832,000 for that. I'll have to wait with that as well.
A tiny something to keep you going.
I don't want to put us at a total deficit, so we'll wait until we have a million or so. And again, we're just waiting for the expedition.
We're in the presence of a virtuoso.
Got a distiller in Bristlewich. The expedition is ready. Let's save the game again. There is something that I need to check here. Cultural items. Let's see. This one, Black Rhino. We can get it from the chieftain of Wahadesher, or we can get it on a zoological expedition. And then there's the lion. Right, okay. I don't remember. This is the Proud Savannah, and this is the Miombo Woodlands. Please hold on while I check those two sets. Okay, so I think we're going to go for the Black Rhino. The lion is better, but I think the Black Rhino is... I think it is easy to get the lion. So we're going to, well, start reading. Blessed Rains. Wide sun-touched lands stretch out before you. Long pale grass glittering with the night's rain, while a scattering of trees provide occasional shade from the already warm orange sun. Unseen amongst the dense matted grass, multitudinous creatures awake to the dawning day, nattering away gaily as the savannah comes to life. A low dell not a mile away hides a blossoming waterhole where numerous strange and foreign beasts are gathering before the day's heat truly begins, nestled in the shadows of a set of monolithic spurs looming high above the plains, surely with views worthy of a king. I think I did the right choice there. Let's head to the waterhole.
Wild things pursue us.
Your party edges stealthily through the high grass towards the hidden waterhole. As they reach a ledge where soft soil has fallen into the muddy water below, they gasp in wonder at the teeming life gathered here. Scores of creatures huddle by the water. Tall-necked giraffes spread their legs awkwardly to lean down and lap the surface, while nervous meerkats and contemptuous gnus eye the waters warily, and with a suspicious profile of those drifting logs, it is not without reason. Suddenly, the ground shakes. You wheel about to see a manifestly infuriated rhinoceros charging at your company. I need to... all of these... Right, okay. I need to save here. We are going to have to do the dodge. Hopefully we can do it. Your crew scatter as one tall woman, made lean by years of working in the rigging, steps out of the grass to face the charging beast. She straightens proudly, defiance flashing in her eyes, and waits for the inevitable blow. At the last instant, she steps gracefully aside, sending the beast hurtling into the thick tree behind her. Stunned by the impact, the rhinoceros staggers slightly, shaking its head to extricate its horn from the torn flesh of the tree. I'm going to save once again. Sorry if that is annoying. And then we are going to attempt to capture it. Several sailors nimbly tie the creature's legs together, carefully avoiding its thrashing head. The rhinoceros struggles against the binding, kicking out violently, but your men tug on the ropes and the beast comes crashing down on its side, motionless but fuming. It takes considerable effort to drag it back to camp, but the dumbfounded look on the rest of the crew's face is worth every bead of sweat. Accept that and we'll toss the bread overboard. Continuing the journey, and now we can go to the Silamidos. We have very high morale, so this should be perfectly fine actually. Was there any notifications? Yeah, a ship construction was finished. I set it up to build 2 clippers, so we have 2 more clippers waiting for us here. Silamidos is the last and final step, and you can only reach Silamidos if you have done all of the other 7 locations, as I have done on this expedition. Otherwise it won't appear at all. So, let's just enjoy the view here. There is an arts festival in town as well. That is a large fleet.
Fun to dispense with dignity and become a sailor.
Yes, isn't it? This really is a beautiful game. I do have a little bit of an FPS hit here, down to 30, even down to 28. Main problem with the frames per second issue that many people are experiencing with Anno is that it is not very well coded for multi-threading, so it's not really using much of my GPU, 40% to render this scene. But it's definitely spiking one of my CPU cores. That being the primary issue.
We have the devil to pay.
And there we go. What I will do now is save the game. And
Not too many changes, I hope.
go away. The Last Tale of Netjer. Actually, I have to do the newspaper. Now that's fine. Publish that. Let's resave the game there, so that we don't have to do the newspaper if I have to reload. Right. The Last Tale of Netjer. One of the lower halyards suddenly snaps, lashing through the air with serpentine speed as the sail it was shackling swells with the seasonal winds. The ship lurches hard to port, cutting through strange mists until, with a resounding squeal, the keel grinds to a halt on pebble-scattered shores. Scores of minute piles of pale sand are scattered across the beach, thousands upon thousands of wispy pyramidia, stretching up to the woodlands beyond. Dark shapes jut out of the sand irregularly, fragments of ancient derelict and long-forgotten vessels, carefully preserved in brine and surf. Perhaps something of their tale may yet be found on this strangest of islands. We can study or we can explore. We are going to study the Pyramidia. Your captain kneels to brush one of the ankle-high piles and is surprised to find his touch met by the resistance of waterlogged sand. The Pyramidion suddenly collapses inward and a great crab sallies forth from the rubble. Golden, caparisoned and fierce, I've no idea if I pronounced that right. Its white claw as broad as a man's palm. Ignoring your captain completely, the creature scuttles into the water and disappears among the surf. Once their wits have returned, your crew realize each pile must host a similar critter, and collect as many as possible to cook over a fire. As they relish the flavoursome sweet flesh, one of them sights a collection of splendidly silhouette houses, high on a jutting spur with sunlight catching their tile roof. Let's explore the plateau. Should probably save soon. Small golden-winged finches roost lazily among the thick-woven branches of strange stout trees, while lizards large enough to fill a bucket unblinkingly follow your crew's progress through the brush. There's a cry of horror as the legs of a many-eyed, grey-furred colossus of a spider wave like a piano hand on a branch overhead. More careful scrutiny reveals a large milky sack among the fallen leaves below, and you shudder at what might have spilled forth had you carelessly trodden upon it. Suddenly the soil gives away, and you tumble through darkness down a long, damp slope. When the dust settles, the dim light reveals a vast underground chamber. Oddly, there are several antique and broken crates scattered in a corner. I'm going to save here. This is an interesting one. Look for evidence of previous visitors. Rudimentary torches are lit before you carefully thread a way through the tall limestone spires. Light flickering eerily off the damp surfaces. The cavern is narrower than feared, and the tangle of stalagmites and accretions makes navigation difficult. Sunlight has long since faded from the distant sky when a man calls excitedly for the rest of the group to join him. His excitement is immediately understood. A vast complex of ruins stretches before you. Strange, scrolling script covers the crumbling walls, hinting at long-lost peoples and stories, and a jumble of putrescent oddments litter the narrow passages between the houses. Let's study the ruins. Tokens abandoned by past visitors abound in the many alcoves hollowed out of the city's cavern walls. Silver eagles, worn green by time, join Argead stars with missing rays in silent vigil, surrounded by crests and copper coins that trace the bloodlines of strange kings. Everywhere the relics of a storied past profess the island's position as a place of trade, perhaps pilgrimage, yet no tokens of recent centuries seem present among the horde. A man suddenly shouts. A dense wall of tousled, prickly shrubs has mysteriously parted, unveiling a narrow path along the cliffside to a village on the mountain's peak. A score or so of houses, sea-washed and sunburnt in red and white, rear their empty, many-eyed sides high above the plains far below. This one we should do the explore the houses on. Despite their evident age, the houses have suffered little wear. Frequent rains may have weathered the once vivid stripes of paint and turned the dark earth coating pale, but inside the furnishings are unperturbed. Benches covered in zebra drapes sit placidly, and a plethora of tall jars hold rare essences. Ghee, frankincense, myrrh, santal, cinnamon, all withered but fragrance intact. One vaulted room yields a trove of ancient-looking parchments covered in the strange glyphs of the land of the great river millennia ago. A sudden rumble of thunder breaks the gloom, and a torrent begins to fall. Someone points to an intricate manor house further up the hill, which perhaps might offer some shelter. I have no idea. Let's retreat to the cave. A fruitless effort. The cave is distant, the path narrow and treacherous, and the storm gathers overhead with every passing second, threatening a wrath of lightning upon the company. In desperation, one man juts his shoulder against a low window, forcing it open and tearing the worn blind so that all may slip into the room beyond. Who is it that comes unheeded to these halls? Echoes a sudden and commanding voice. And what have you done to my blinds? A venerable man stands atop a nearby staircase, clad in raiment of gold and turquoise. Turquoise? His long beard braided with strands of netted gemstones. His hands rest on the railing for support, but such is the nobility of his bearing that your expedition find themselves bowing to him. I think we're just going to go with the truth. Fate stranded us and exploration brought us here.
What's eating biscuit for?
He smiles softly. Rarely does fate needlessly bring visitors to the land of Punt. Years has it been since these shores saw such life. Plague and exile took it long ago, and now I am a king without a people. Weariness flashes across his face before he composes himself again. As with all things, even Netjer must return to the mists. Take what riches you may find. I ask only this of you. Cherish the fleeting moments with your kind, too often early soured by fate, and keep the memory of this land alive. No land truly dies until its story has entirely passed from memory. He bows curtly and steps into the shadows. Stunned, you search the palace for him, but he has vanished. You find many treasures, and as Netjer sinks back into the fog, one man swears he saw a gargantuan figure slither to rest around its shores, nesting the island in an embrace of gold and turquoise scales. So this is the treasures of Sealy Amidors. They are worth a fair amount of money, and they are also pretty good. To the point where I'm going to ditch our expert hunter and take these with me. And, well... yeah, that's just how it is. Confirm. Continue our journey. And go to the Horn of Enbesa. Not sure why I say Enbesa. I think it is Enbesa. Continue. And that is the final leg of the journey, so when that is part of the journey is done, we will actually have come to Enbesa, which is exactly what I want. That final one, I don't think there was any choice that I could have taken that would have failed it. It doesn't look like it according to the guide. However, allergy stuff, so be right back. There we go, I took the liberty of just letting the game run for a little bit, and now we have reached Enbesa. Smoke on the waters. Ship astern, Captain. She's gaining on us. It's an attack. A powerful ship, lateens taut with dry wind, ports gaping with expectant violence, swivels out of a hidden nook past the heavily wooded coast. She's flying a flag of carmine and sable emblazoned with a triumphant sun, colours unknown to any of the crew. As she deftly weaves in and out of the waves, catching the draft masterfully to close the distance with great speed, a thunderous explosion rocks her port side. Something whistles through the air and plummets into the emerald waters behind your ship. You swing hard to port, breaking line as your gun ports creak open hurriedly and your deckhands take careful aim. Aim to shatter her hull.
We know not peoples as
A first volley crashes into the enemy's side, then a second as the lower gun teams let loose. Fire leaps to claw at the gaping wound in the vessel's flank before its yard sunders, torn in two. Minuscule figures scuttle along its deck, struggling to smother the eager flames before a sudden and mighty explosion sends all those on deck sprawling and scrambling as the ship lists dangerously in the water. A burly man in what must be the officer's attire bellows over the din, his voice heavy with a tang of authority. He appears to be holding a young man at gunpoint. Mercenaries and murderers! Trust Ketema to stoop to such methods. Silence your guns or your friend here will taste lead. I know neither this man nor the Ketema of whom you speak. The man scoffs. A likely story. No sooner had your sails been sighted than he, the disgust in his voice is palpable, warned us to release him, lest you rain Ketema's fury upon us. A glance at the young man's frantic countenance is enough to understand that he had in fact been attempting to intimidate the rogues so as to extricate himself from these dire straits. As he sorely attempts to retain some semblance of self-control, his eyes plead for your men to play along. I have no idea about this. Why wouldn't he need help when you stand 40 against him? The man draws himself up with dignified fury. And where were such morals when your master sent his legions to drive families from their ancestral land so he could raise the mighty warehouses he takes such pride in? This man is a servant of oppression, a fiend. In a sudden flurry of movement, having sensed the captain's grip loosen, the young prisoner elbows him in the ribs and leaps into the sea before he can be seized. Shoot the emissary if you must, splutters the red-faced captain, but when the young man fails to resurface, he realizes his bargaining chip is gone. He orders his gun be turned. They are aiming for your crew. Fire around a volley of a round shot just above their waterline. Crackerjack. Your gunners slide the heavy 15-inch projectiles into the muzzle of the aftmost cannons, ripping some of their own shirts to pad the barrel and avoid windage, lest the ball deviate from its trajectory or explode before leaving the cannon. Your crew scramble to cover, then a flare of flame and resounding blast. Splintered wood soars into the air as the round shot tears through ballast, mast, railing and bone. Spear's shots ring out. A foolhardy attempt at retaliation before a second broadside crashes into the ship's underbelly. As your captain signals to leave these dangerous waters, a scraping, scrambling sound is heard on the port side ladder. Wait for the intruder to show themselves. Hearing the dry click of rifles cocked and ready to fire, a voice protests from below the railing. Hold fire! I am the man they were holding prisoner. After a moment's silence, a hand appears upon the railing, followed by the lithe figure of the young prisoner, evidently disconcerted by the score of rifles aiming at him. Sorry for dragging you into this unfortunate situation. Those rogues sank my ship and slayed my crew, and I was desperate for any kind of help. As he says this, the crew lower their rifles a little. I fear they wish to prize from my lord's secrets and plans. When I saw your sails, it seemed my only reprieve, so I told them Janihoy Ketema sent you. Who were those poor ruffians? Warmongers and brutes in the service of the Princess of Angareb, a noble folk, but their refusal to honor the Emperor has driven them to violent ends. Ends which I feel will only ever result in grief and pain. But why attack you? Of course, pardon my manners. I am Biniam, son of Curia, emissary of His Imperial Majesty Ketema. I am on a mission to seek out experts from around the world to assist with the many ambitions my lord has for Enbesa. The Emperor wishes for the name of Enbesa to be sung and admired for his learnedness, beauty, prosperity and wisdom. But let us not tarry here. Come, follow me to Taborime, where my lord will be sure to reward your brave generosity. Set sail for the south, past the pillared reefs with ochre flowers. Cross the marshes, and then you will see it. Ancient Enbesa, with gold-lit mountains, slumbering lions, and proud peoples.
These fabled lands exist after all.
Yanihoy Ketema. May I introduce my benefactor, a renowned city planner from the distant north.
Such noble hearts are ever welcome in Enbesa. So, you heard I was seeking for talent such as yours to expand our new capital.
Our meeting was serendipity alone, my emperor.
Then the Lord truly smiles on you. There is opportunity here to be part of a tale greater than all of us. So far, I have neglected this arid province of the Empire, seat of the kings of old. But from the dust, a garden will bloom anew. Many lives of kings has it been since last Enbesa was so united, frail as that legacy may hold. Some would see us divided, each to their own purpose, but they are blind to the greater threat. Hungry eyes turning south towards us. In unison and with pride, we will return their stares.
So must all stand to defend their share, or be eaten.
And so to you, I would entrust the raising of Taborime, our new capital on these lands. May it grow to unite all Enbesa under one covenant. Young Biniam will help you settle, share his plan for the canals. Taborime may soon shine like a jewel of peace on the girdle of this great nation.
And here we are in Enbesa.
Line reporting in.
Let's see here. We need to go to this lighthouse.
I wish to speak with you on matters of great importance concerning all Enbesa. Will you work with me to help my people?
Now, for those of you who are unaware, and I don't think many of you are, if you have played with the Land of Lions, you can skip this quest line completely. Just click X here. It will give you a warning. Are you sure you want to do this? And the Research Institute will still be unlocked, but this island down here will be unavailable to you entirely. I'm going to do the quest line, even though it is long and tedious, to be honest. And I'm not going to do that on camera all the time. I might do some of it on camera. I might even do it as a specific episode where I do pauses, because it is a lot of going back and forth. If you decline his quest line, you will still be able to do the quests of the 3 islands. So you will get the items and the bonuses that the 3 different islands provide to you. But let's do this.
Sir Ketema, Emperor to millennial Enbesa, and heir to the scepter of Covenant, bid you rest here a while, seafarer.
Send our ship to the lighthouse. Now, the one thing you should be aware of when it comes to Enbesa is this. 13,312, and he will buy unlimited amounts of pocket watches. I love the music here. Like, I really, really love the music in Enbesa. It is absolutely amazingly fabulous. However, back to the old world. And Blake sells pocket watches at 8,320.
Good and ready.
Let's buy 125, I suppose. Like that. Now, it helps to have a different specialist on the ship, one that reduces the cost even further, but for now, this is the one I have, so let's trade this down to a minuscule amount of money. Let's send this guy, or this ship, to Taborime. And let's also end the episode here, I think. can explore the
Climb the rigging.
quests or whatever you should call them. We can explore Enbesa I in the next episode. We will get the Taborime. You always get Taborime. So we'll get this harbor and we can start setting up our city here. Not sure if I want to do that right away or if I want to wait with it, but I definitely wanted to unlock Enbesa so that I can set up that trade route, so that I can get the pocket watches up and running, selling and buying, because, well, basically money is not going to be a problem after this. The journey takes a while, so it's not a instant win card that makes you ignore money altogether, but it really does help in terms of being able to buy more of the specialists that we need to get progression a little bit quicker than if we are to rely on the income we have from this and the soap trade. There is another trade route that I also want to set up, but we'll deal with that in the next episode. So for now, if you have any questions and or comments, then please do feel free to leave those in the comment section. I hope that these 2 episodes where I were talking a lot and telling about the expeditions and reloading haven't been annoying. If you feel they were annoying, then please let me know, because there are a similar expedition for the passage into the Arctic, and I have no plans of going to the Arctic very soon. I will be going to Crown Falls though, but not yet. And maybe this episode is out before I record that. I kind of doubt it, but yeah. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So, thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope to see you all in the next episode.